What is going on, YouTube people? Cards and Comics here. Weekly sports card market update. Playoff football weekend edition. I am recording this prior to the games on Saturday, so I do not know yet if CJ Stroud prices are going to the moon and back again. I don't know if Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are heading home. I don't know if the Packers can pull off another huge upset. And Jordan Love will be the one going to the moon. Fun weekend last weekend. Obviously, the Browns lost. Sad times. We'll see what happens this weekend. On the Browns side, people were curious about my general reaction from that. Listen, they were on their fourth quarterback. They lost their number one All-Pro running back on week 2 of the season. For them to even make the playoffs was an absolute blessing. It was a fantastic season. I love the run with Flacco. It was super fun. On the next year, hopefully Deshaun Watson can get healthy and turn things around, though I'm a little skeptical of all that. In the meantime, I am on Team Baker Mayfield once again. Let's go, buddy. Let's go. A lot of little newsy stuff to get into. We'll get into some charts and graphs later in the video, as we typically do on these, looking at some football stuff and some basketball stuff, a little baseball light on the charts and graphs, but we'll talk some baseball news and happenings, a little news front loaded at the beginning here. But before we do, have to mention our friends over at ComC.com. They are the sponsor of today's video and all the weekly sports card market updates into the new year. Had a nice shipment go out to them this week. It's still in limbo land of USPS on its way there. Had those cards shipped home. Did that video earlier this week. So if you missed that, go check it out. It is a perfect example of the way that I like to use ComC. Send the stuff off that I have laying around the house from box openings, just random stuff I pick up. Send it off to them. Move it off their platform, so I don't have to deal with the shipping and all the nonsense, and then use that to buy cool cards for the PC. I'm actually considering, because an underrated aspect of ComC is you could take store credit and cash it out into blowout credit. I might do that. I'm thinking about maybe picking up a case of Series 1 Jumbos to rip. That's right, an entire case, 6 boxes. I was going to try to pick one up so that we'll kind of transition into kind of the newsy segments of the program. Series 1 went up for pre-order this week. Topps 2024 Series 1 went up for pre-order. Hobby boxes were $90. Jumbos were $160. And they had cases of both. My goal was to get a case of Jumbos. The case of Jumbos sold out before I could find the product linked for it. So I got 2 Jumbos and 2 hobby boxes, individuals, not cases. So those will be here in or around Valentine's Day. Maybe do a little bit of a comparison on hobby compared to the Jumbo. We'll see how things come out. Usually, Striker or someone like that will do the full video breakdown of it, but just get a feel for ripping it. Really like that design. I did not realize, I heard about them talking about this on Spitball and Cards, that there is a team color match parallel this year. I am excited about that. Team color match parallel. I am the king of color match. I love team color matches. So I'm curious to see what that looks like. I'm also very curious to see if that filters over to Topps Chrome. And if there's a Topps Chrome team color match, that could potentially be exciting as well. But those sold out pretty quickly, the cases anyways. Individual boxes were up most of the afternoon. I think they air quote sold out, and then they put more up later in the day. I don't know if that was on purpose or just to get, a different crowd for people that were at work or whatever. But Series 1, a lot of hype around it. We'll see how it all shakes out once we get a full checklist, parallels, get some more image previews and all that. Did you snag any? Are you planning on chasing Series 1? And it will be printed to the moon. Listen, I don't want to hear people complaining about Series 1 is everywhere. Series 1 is supposed to be everywhere. It is supposed to be printed to the moon. It is the entry-level product for baseball card collectors. It should be everywhere. There should be boxes coming out of every gas station, Walmart, whatever, on the retail side of things, everywhere. So I'm not going to complain about them printing a ton of Series 1. It is what it is. If you want to chase stuff, get the hobby boxes or the Jumbos. or maybe one of the retail products ends up being pretty good. Like I said, someone will do a video breakdown, kind of sharing what the hot product is, the hot SKU from that is. I did see ERB Sports did a breakdown of the print run. That was a pretty interesting video. You can go check that one down. But yeah, I'm not going to get upset about them printing Series 1 to the moon. It absolutely should be. Next up, let's talk a little PSA. They dropped the special, and they are flying. This is my order that I sent in. This arrived early January. It is already out of grading and into assembly. And I have seen people post on the blowout forums that their grades have already popped from this New Year's special. So I don't know if I'll get grades sometime this week or not. These tend to be all over the place, but they are moving. And like I said, on the blowout forum grading page, there are multiple people posting that their grades have popped already from these orders. So they are not messing around on these at all. If PSA ever gets cheap grading and fast turnaround times, I mean, they don't have to be SGC level fast where they're getting them back to you in like a week or two. But if PSA figures out $15 grading and like a 1 month turnaround time, that's going to be trouble for a lot of the other grading companies if they have the ability to turn fast, because that is the one knock on PSA on the slow orders or the cheaper orders, is they take a little bit longer to get back. But if they can figure that portion out where they're getting this stuff back in people's hands fast, that's a little bit scary for some of the other companies out there. Let's talk a little CardsHQ. Kind of following back up on the live stream with Dustin and Steve this past week. We had Jeff Wilson on as a special guest to talk about his new shop, CardsHQ. I'm curious to see how it goes. Sadly, I will not be able to make Culture Collision next week. I was hoping to be able to pull it off, but work had other plans for me. The day job prevented me from being able to sneak out and get down there for the weekend. I'm hoping to head to Atlanta maybe later this year and being able to stop by the shop and check it out. Dustin and Steve will be there. They will be able to give us a firsthand report on Off-Centered following the show. The thing I wanted to circle back to is the concept, and I did a YouTube short on this and a reel on it. The section where Jeff talked about pricing at the card shop, basically saying that they weren't going to negotiate, essentially. Their price is their price, and they would be priced competitively in or around comps. But he basically didn't want to have to deal with the constant back and forth of negotiation in a large shop like this with multiple employees on the floor and the whole 9 yards. And I saw a lot of pushback on that in the comments. And I don't know if that's fair or not. We don't know yet until we actually see how the stuff is priced. And I get it, we're all used to card shops and dealers that are priced so out of whack, where the card is on eBay at buy it now at $80 and they're at $120, and like, I got no room. Sorry, I'm into it for everyone's favorite words when you're at a card show. Sorry, I'm into it for X amount of dollars, so I can't go that low. I get that that's kind of ingrained in us, so we're used to having to try to bring down that number. And once again, I don't know. We don't know until the shop opens. If the pricing is competitive, I don't know that I have a problem with it. If a silver Prism rookie in a PSA 10 is selling for around $100 regularly, buy it now, auction, whatever, on eBay, and they have it in their showcase at $100, and they're like, that's our price, I don't not know that I necessarily have a problem with that. You know, if I truly want the card, if I am buying the card because I want it, then paying close to what it goes for on eBay, or paying like if they're at $100 bin on eBay and they have it listed for 100, would I like to get it from cheaper? Maybe a silver Prism is not the best example here, but if it's something that you can't find that often and it's fairly priced, I mean, sure, I would try if it was at a show, but if I really want the card, I'm going to end up buying it anyway. So as long as it's priced correctly, I don't see the big freak out for wanting to price cards like that. Now, if they're priced way out of whack, different story. I don't think they will be, just because of, you know, the amount of social media attention that would get the first time a card is priced incorrectly. Someone will be on Instagram tagging everyone and their sister in it about how he's pricing his cards. But we'll see. We'll have to see how this all plays out. It's an interesting concept. I hope that it actually works, because it would be kind of nice just to know like what the price is and walk in and get it. If, once again, the key here is if the card is accurately priced. If it's accurately priced, I see no issue with it. But like I said, I think we're so ingrained because we're used to the nonsense and all the rigmarole of going back and forth with people because their cards aren't priced correctly to begin with. So we'll see what happens there. He's got some cool ideas. We will see if it works. I'm sure the internet will let us know every little thing about it, good, bad, or indifferent. Stock releases. We had some busy week this week with new releases. Bowman's Best is out. Boxes for that are going for about $280, as we kind of discussed in the Kaboom video yesterday. I was originally going to grab a box of this, and as I'm recording this, I will be at my local show, my local Canton show in 2024, moved from Saturdays to Sundays, and it's in a bigger venue, so I'll be walking around that as the morning viewers here are watching this. I originally said I was not going to snag a box of Bowman's Best to open on the channel. I'm not a huge fan of the design, at least what I saw in videos, but it is a good product layout. 4 autos per box. Now, obviously, you can whiff on all 4 autos, and it doesn't matter who you pull. A lot of parallels and stuff like that. If I run into one at the show today and it's priced correctly or I can get a good deal on it, maybe I'll snag one, but I am not planning on it. So we'll see what happens. But I like the format of it. I ripped a box last year and enjoyed it quite a bit. Absolute Football. I will not be buying a box of this. I'm just going to touch on this briefly because I did a whole video about this yesterday. Hobby boxes are sitting just south of $700, $650 to $700 basically, and it's all about the Kaboom. The hobby this week, Kaboom crazy. That's all everyone's talking about, all everyone's going crazy for. I still don't think we've actually had a legitimate sale as of time of recording on a Stroud Kaboom. There is a horizontal one that ends at auction here shortly. I'm recording this right before the game starts. As I finish this, the game will probably be starting. So we'll see what happens after the game on Saturday night. Like I said, I don't know what happened in that yet, but Stroud Kabooms are absolutely out of control. Raws are basically going for more than what a PSA 10 Josh Allen is going for. We'll see if those numbers are air quote real or if they are being manipulated with. And I'll reiterate what I said yesterday. If you want to call me a fanatic shill, call me a fanatic shill. 2 of these boxes for $600 makes way more sense than one of these boxes for $700. I don't care. There's no logic you can lay out that will tell me that otherwise. Ripping 2 boxes of this will be a much better rip experience than Absolute Football. Outside of Kabooms, Absolute Football is junk. There, and maybe one other, the clear, people like the clear inserts, I think, in the explosives. So outside of some case hit inserts, and good luck hitting one, from an experience of sitting down and ripping a product, Fanatics is kicking Panini's ass, and it's not even close. I honestly don't know how you could say otherwise. I get you want to hate Fanatics for everything under the sun, but as of right now, comparing the two, and I'm not saying that Fanatics isn't expensive on some of their stuff either, but when you compare the two, Fanatics to Panini, the Fanatics rip experience is drastically better. Now, one that I haven't ripped, this is the other one sweeping the nation this week, Bowman Chrome U. I do not plan on ripping any of this. I'm not a college basketball guy at all. The chase here is, and this did not sell out, by the way, this is as of Saturday afternoon. These boxes are still well in stock. Bowman Chrome U has the Bronny and LeBron dual auto superfractor chase. Bronny's individual autos are also in this. I haven't seen one completed yet. Here's a base. Not a bad image, not a bad, same design as Bowman Chrome Football University. Sticker auto. This has got 3 days left on it, going for about $117. I have no idea if Bronny James is going to be any good at basketball. He's been to start off USC season, but he had the major health scare over the offseason, so that could be part of it. We'll see what happens. The Bronny chase is more about his last name being James than it is about anything Bronny does on the court. I actually think LeBron's other son is supposed to be better at basketball than Bronny is. we'll see what happens with that. It is what it is. I don't really have a big desire to chase this product. It looks fine. I like the design, but I'm just not a college basketball guy at all. But the Bronny hunt is on. We will see if the 101 gets pulled or not, and who pulls it. What breaker's going to get it, boys and girls? Speaking of upcoming releases, this was been floating around. Slab Stocks has the best image that I've seen so far. Bowman 2024 design. A little bit of a shakeup. I don't mind it. I don't know how I feel about the double border, like the outside border, and then we have an inside border. I kind of like the logo a little bit up there in the corner. It's fine. This does not blow me out of the water. The 2024 Series 1 design, I was like, that's really cool. I like that. This just feels like a different take on the Bowman design. I don't know that there's anything radical here. I like ripping Bowman. I don't know any of the guys that I'm typically chasing. We'll see what pricing looks like when we get to it, but that is your Bowman design for this upcoming season. One last thing before we kind of get the charts and graphs, last kind of newsy piece. Caitlyn Clark 101 Superfractor Auto sold, set a record for women's sports cards. Say what you will. I'm sure people are already commenting in the comments down below. Caitlyn Clark, good at basketball. Exciting player, fun to watch. I think this went for $11,500, give or take, but set the record for a women's sports card selling. Let's get into some charts and graphs. Market movers, link in the description down below if you want your own version of charts and graphs. Discount code down there. Go check it out. First up, football. Prism. Prism hobby boxes are on the rise post-release. They are now up to $900 a box. They originally came out at about $775, $800. They have crept up on the backs of one Mr. CJ Stroud. Now, like I said, you all know what happened in that game. I don't yet. But we'll see what happens as we move throughout the week this upcoming week, depending on the outcome of Saturday night. Here's the thing. I mentioned this before. This is perfect timing all around. Stroud has limited supply on the market. Stroud has no autos on the market. He's playing well. He's in the playoffs. He could potentially win again. And it is hype to the moon city. Even if they lose or lost, I guess, even if they lost last night, if Stroud played well, I don't know that he's going to he'll see a dip just because of supply hitting more onto the market, but I don't think it'll be because of a loss in the playoffs. He's kind of already gone farther than people already thought he was going to, and he is going to be the guy going through the offseason and into the national. Everybody is going to be wanting Stroud, and heaven forbid they make any kind of big splashy maneuvers in the offseason to add, especially on the offensive side, talent-wise. Stroud will be the ultimate expectations meet reality next year because he is going to be pumped to the moon, even if he plays bad against the Ravens. I'm actually kind of rooting for, even though he beat the Browns, I'm kind of rooting for him. I hate the Ravens. Cannot stand the Ravens. So I'll actually be on Team Stroud today, even though they did just beat us. But his prices could go absolutely wild if they win again and knock off the Ravens. And who knows, once again, you all know what happened. I don't. Baltimore's been sitting around for a couple weeks. We'll see. Maybe Stroud is the team of destiny, or maybe they got smoked by 30 points. Speaking of Prism, let's kind of look at the lineup here. Like checking in on this stuff every once in a while, especially on new releases. Stroud in the Silver Prism Raw category is the leader in the clubhouse at $400. All this stuff's going to be in the red. That's 100% normal as more supply hits the market. Anthony Richardson, AR-15, is in second place. Bryce Young is in third. I'm honestly surprised Richardson and Young are that close. I would much rather have an Anthony Richardson Silver Prism than a Bryce Young Silver Prism. Curious for your thoughts on Stroud selling for 4x of an Anthony Richardson. Obviously, Richardson got hurt. Stroud's in the playoffs, but should the gap be that wide? Below that, we get in the position players. Everyone's favorite, Puka Nacua. Then Will Levis, Rashid Rice, Bijan Robinson, and Sam Laporta in there at $20. Be interested to see if Laporta got a bounce of like he had a big playoff game or something like that. Then we kind of moved down from there. Devon Achane, Hayden Hooker, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jordan Addison. We're down another 10, $15. Brock Purdy, second year. We also have a PSA 10 hit the market. This one is listed. One actually sold as well. And it's funny. they're basically using the same image. It is two different cards. I thought maybe it was a different seller. They're essentially listing and selling these straight from PSA because you get the PSA seller ready images now. That's a PSA image from the app or from the website that they just pulled over and use that. So they might not even have the card in hand yet. Who knows? This one's sitting at $2,300. Best offer, buy it now. And this one sold just yesterday, as of time of recording, for just over $2,000. So Raws are going for about $400. PSA 10 sitting at about $2K right now. I have to imagine if they won yesterday or balled out, this will no longer be an active listing. We'll see what happens. But basically, out of the gate, $2K for a Stroud PSA 10 silver. More of those will be coming to the market. So we'll see what happens there. But if the hype meter keeps going, it's not going to matter. Let's look at some quarterback prices, both going up and going down from the playoffs. These are Silver Prism PSA 10s. I went back 60 days just to kind of show us a little bit of the buildup on some of these guys. Over the last 60, Jordan Love up 124%. About half that happened this past week. He has been on the incline over the last 30 days, and then he jumped up again after smoking the Cowboys. You hate to see it. Sorry, Cowboys fans. Jared Goff, not much movement, only up 10%. We'll see if they win this week. Lions hype. Congratulations to the Lions. Always kind of felt a brotherhood with Lions fans as being a Browns fans with the ineptitude squads. So happy to see them win and move on. Tua lost last week, immediately dropped 20%. I know this is running back 60 days. That 20% drop pretty much all happened within the last week or so. Baker Mayfield Optic Hollow, my boy, up 100%. Was $80 60 days ago, now up to 160. That did not see as big of a bump immediately after the game, maybe a 10 or 20% increase. Josh Allen up about 51%. We'll see what happens with them this week. Should be a fun game against the Chiefs. And Jalen Hurts after that absolute disaster against Baker Mayfield. Who could fault the guy? When you go against Baker Mayfield, I mean, you shouldn't expect to win. Down 30%. And the Eagles, that game, you could tell right from the get-go, the Eagles wanted no part of even suiting up and playing in that football game. They just looked god awful. So he's down about 30%. Typically, like on the Tua Jalen Hurts side of things, they'll drop for about a week or so, then kind of flatten out and then maybe even bounce back. We'll see if the Eagles make any crazy shakeups or anything. Tua's an enigma. He just can't seem to get it done in the playoffs every year, and major injury concerns around him. We'll see what happens with them as we move through the offseason, and we will see what happens this weekend. And I'll probably do something similar like this again next week of just kind of checking in with the price movements, the big price swings of the playoff guys. Let's take a quick look at NBA, and then we'll go ahead and get out of here. Silver Prism PSA 10s, once again, looking at the last 30 days. This is just kind of a macro level quick look. I was just kind of curious to see who's been going up and who has been going down. Embiid, number one on the up in regards to dollar value, not percentage. 30% increase there. He's been playing out of his mind. It was a fun week in the NBA, actually. We had Embiid Joker, and then we had Joker Celtics. Both those games were absolutely fantastic. The Celtics' home winning streak got snapped finally at, I think, 20 games that was at. Embiid's looked absolutely great this year. He's up. SGA, Thunder continue to play absolutely out of their mind. Super fun team. I think they need to trade. I wouldn't mind seeing them make a little bit of a side maneuver to improve some parts of the roster. But SGA up about 20%. Jalen Williams up quite a bit as well. He's been playing really, really great. Tatum up slightly. Emmanuel Quickly still up slightly post-trade. Pascal Siakam got a little bit of a bump this week post-trade to the Pacers. We'll see what the Pacers look like. I think Tyrese is back now as well from injury. Sengun continues to play really well. Scotty Barnes has been a massive rebound after an amazing rookie season, a crap last year. He's looked great, and now he kind of has free run on that team with Siakam and Anunoby out of there, so he's got a little bit of a bump up there. On the going down side of things, Luke is number one in regards to dollar value, but it's only a 10% swing. And he's still at about that same 1.1, 1.2 on his silver PSA 10. So I'm not going to go all panicky on that one. This card seems to bounce between $1,000 and $1,300 just kind of depending on the week. John Morant down about 25% after the season-ending industry. Austin Reeves, one of the biggest struggle buses of the year, though he has been playing a little bit better lately. Jamal Murray down a little bit. Jaylen Brown down a little bit. Lauri Markkanen down quite a bit, even though the Jazz been playing really well as well. Tyrese Maxey down slightly. Kind of surprised to see that given a lot of the Sixers buzz lately. And then Moses Moody down slightly as well. The other thing I should note, I did not pull prices on him. Josh Giddey was cleared of all charges, so we'll have to see. That just happened about a day or so ago. We'll have to maybe check in on that next week and see if he gets a little bit of a bounce back in prices with the news that he is basically all well and good in his little case there. So that's all I got for you, boys and girls. Hope you enjoyed Saturday football. Hope you enjoyed Sunday football. Like I said, I am walking around a local card show as you are watching this video and then coming home to watch some football in the afternoon. Not sure what I got lined up for videos this upcoming week. I have one box opening with Fleer Ultra Midnight Suns. That box came in. I will be opening that. That video is actually already recorded. And then maybe a Bowman's Best box opening. Probably not, but maybe. We'll see. Beyond that, not sure. Catch you boys and girls on the next one. Peace.